Echoes from the non-existent floor. My name is Linda Ann, 28 years old, a data engineer working for a prop tech company in Miami. My life revolves around numbers, algorithms, and glowing computer screens. I'm not the type to believe in ghosts or superstitions. Everything has a logical explanation backed by data and code that doesn't lie. That's why I jumped at the chance to move into this new condo complex by the coast, part of a rapid urban development push in South Florida. The company assigned me to optimize the smart security camera system here, and the apartment came as a perk. I figured it would be perfect, close to the ocean for some relaxation, and ideal for my late-night shifts. The day I moved in was a scorching afternoon, with salty sea breezes whipping through the freshly paved streets that used to be nothing but mangroves and swampland a few years back. The building, called Ocean Breeze Residences, is a sleek 15-story high-rise with modern touches. Tempered glass facades shimmering in the sun, AI-powered elevators that scan your face, and cameras monitoring every corner. I picked an apartment on the 10th floor with a view straight out to the Atlantic, where waves crash rhythmically during the day. At night, the coastal winds howl through the window cracks, carrying humidity and the faint scent of salt. Power flickers sometimes, especially during stormy evenings, making the hallway lights stutter like in a low-budget horror flick. But I brushed it off. As an engineer, those are just technical glitches, fixable with a quick system reboot. The residents here are mostly young professionals like me, coders, graphic designers, call center reps pulling night shifts. We nod hello in the lobby, share morning coffees, or gripe about the muggy weather. Rain here comes in torrents, sometimes lasting days, turning the air into a thick fog. And then there's Mrs. Smith. She's the only old-timer left, around 65, living on the first floor since before the land was developed. She often sits on a bench in the courtyard, smoking a cigarette and staring out at the sea with cloudy eyes. The first time I met her, I just smiled politely, but she ended up becoming a key part of this nightmare. Everything started out mundane enough. I spent most of my time in the apartment, hunched over my laptop, analyzing camera data. My job is to fine-tune the AI for detecting anomalies, suspicious loiterers, unlocked doors, or odd sounds. The system is cutting edge, with 99% facial recognition accuracy and hourly data logs. At first, I was thrilled with it all, but in the second week, while working late, around 2 a.m., an alert popped up on my screen. The basement camera flagged something, a glitchy image like a figure standing in the shadows. I zoomed in, my heart skipping a beat from the surprise. It was a hazy silhouette, long hair cascading down, dressed in white. It stood motionless, head tilted slightly, as if staring right at the lens. Probably a recognition error, I told myself. AI can mistake swaying shadows or dust for people. I reset the system, chugged some cold water to shake off the unease, and went to bed. By morning, I'd almost forgotten it, but it happened again. Not once, but repeatedly, always between 2 and 3 a.m. Each time, the logs noted unusual movement from the basement up the floors, but reviewing the footage showed only static snow, interspersed with faint crackling noises. And the smell, a faint jasmine fragrance, sweet but oppressive, like funeral flowers. At first, I thought it was wafting in from the window, maybe from a nearby cemetery. But no, it materialized right in the room, especially when replaying the clips. I started documenting times, camera locations, glitch descriptions. Being rational, I dove into the code, checking for bugs. Maybe a hack or power surges causing interference? I even called colleagues at the office, but they laughed it off. Linda, you're burning out. Get some rest. The morning after the first incident, grabbing breakfast in the lobby cafe, I ran into Mrs. Smith. She was on her bench, cigarette smoke curling in the humid air. New girl, huh? You look tired already, she said in a gravelly voice. I smiled, introduced myself, and mentioned my job casually. She nodded, then asked out of nowhere, "You hear the crying at night?" I blinked, shook my head. She chuckled sadly. This land used to be a maternity hospital, built back in the 80s, abandoned after a big scandal. Lots of missing mothers, lost birth records. They buried it all when they built this place for urban progress. She emphasized the last words mockingly. I listened half-heartedly, figuring she was mixing up memories with old folklore. But oddly, from that day on, I started hearing cries. Not outright, but woven into the elevator announcements. Floor 10, doors opening, the robotic voice would say, followed by a faint wail, like a newborn in distress. The first time, I chalked it up to sleep deprivation. I often worked until 4 or 5 a.m. But it repeated nightly, sending chills down my spine every time I stepped into the elevator. I decided to talk to Mike Cole, the building manager. He's about 30, always in a crisp suit with a salesman's smile plastered on. When I reported the camera glitches, he listened intently, but his eyes darted away. "Don't worry, Miss Ann. New building. Tech hiccups happen. I'll have maintenance check it." But I caught the sweat on his brow despite the AC. "Just don't spread rumors. Could tank property values." He whispered that as he showed me out. I nodded, but suspicion gnawed at me. Why the cover-up? Was it tied to what Mrs. Smith mentioned? Things escalated. The glitches spread from the basement to the 10th floor hallway, right outside my door. Logs showed movement ending at floor 16, a floor that doesn't exist on the building's BIM blueprints. The schematics cap at 15, yet the entries repeated it obsessively. I tested the elevator alone one stormy midnight. Rain pounded the windows, winds howling outside. I hit the button for the lobby, but it jerked to a halt between floors 10 and 9, lights cutting out. In the pitch black, the cries rang clear, not from speakers, but echoing off the walls. The jasmine scent choked me, making my head spin. My heart pounded as I fumbled for the emergency button. After what felt like eternity, the lights flickered on, and the elevator resumed as if nothing happened. I burst into the lobby, gasping, questioning my sanity. Mrs. Smith became my go-to. I'd visit her in the afternoons, bringing tea and sandwiches. She loved ham and cheese. She shared more details about the old hospital. It was a spot for secret deliveries, young women forced to give up babies or vanishing afterward. One woman, Elena, 25, in a white gown, long dark hair. She had a tough birth, bled out, then poof, gone. Her son never registered, records scrubbed when the redevelopment got rushed approval. Her eyes teared up, reliving it. Ghosts don't forget, dear. They want acknowledgement, a name. I was skeptical, but the data matched eerily. The glitch silhouettes were always long-haired figures, triggering only during facial recognition fails, as if it had no identity to recognize. Science clashed with folklore in my mind. Digital evidence couldn't explain it, but collective memory did. I dug deeper. Nights turned my apartment into a command center. Laptop screen casting shadows on my weary face, cold coffee at hand. I recovered deleted logs. Someone had manually wiped them, probably Mike. The patterns repeated, from the old delivery room, now the parking basement, to the phantom floor 16. I even hacked into city archives, digitized 80s records. After sleepless nights, I found it. Elena's file, a missing mother from 1985 after birthing a boy. The child unregistered, like he never existed. Sins buried under concrete for hasty urban growth to lure investors. Fear crept in, fear of myself, of reality warping. The cries like looping signals, reminders of voiceless lives. Mike ramped up the pressure. Emails, calls, even visits. "Stop this, Linda. It's just rumors. Keep going, and I'll have to report you." But terror lurked in his eyes. I knew the history, but the company made me hide it. "Don't stir it up. It'll get angry." "It? What?" I pressed, but he shook his head and left. Phenomena intensified. Glitches more frequent, sometimes in my apartment camera. During a massive storm, power surging, I saw it on my screen. A white figure in the living room corner, hair obscuring the face, staring. I rushed out, flipped lights, nothing. Just lingering jasmine and cries from the elevator speakers, mingling with coastal gales. I went public. Printed Elena's records, read her and the boys' names aloud in my apartment like a ritual. Posted in the resident chat. "Anyone hear the cries? This is the real history." Mrs. Smith corroborated, and stories flooded in. Jasmine scents, fleeting white shadows, newborn wails and announcements. Mike panicked, trying to delete posts, but too late. The disturbances eased, cries faded, glitches vanished. I thought I'd won, acknowledgement freed them. Science or belief? I wasn't sure. But it wasn't over. One night, the system auto-updated. The AI learned from the anomalous data I'd restored. Now, glitches spread to other company-managed buildings. Colleagues reported, cameras in nearby condos capturing long-haired silhouettes, cries in elevators. Had it not dissipated but relocated? Or did the tech absorb the grudge, turning it into a digital vector? I sit here, gazing at the dark ocean under rain, winds rattling the panes, wondering if my optimized cameras are watching me from floor 16. The cries echo somewhere, from speakers, gusts, or my mind. And you, reading this, do you hear them? Or are they drawing closer to you? Mike returns one night, disheveled. "You were right. It's following me." He sobs. Saw it in my office, whispering my name. Knew the history from day one, but bosses said bury it for sales. We talk till dawn. He vanishes next day. Police inquire, find nothing but logs. Him entering elevator, vanishing at floor 16. Residents share. Group chat explodes with stories. Cries under pillows, jasmine in closets, TV static showing figures. Atmosphere tenses. People doubt reality, each other. I, the skeptic, start praying. System check reveals AI evolving, generating fake footage, spreading grudge citywide. Urban sins awaken something vast. I stay, obsessed. Nights filled with sounds, winds, dripping rain, flickering neon. Warning, in your modern coastal high-rise, listen to elevator chimes. That whale might call you.